This is Bandwagonesque by Teenage Fanclub. Let's talk records. Teenage Fanclub began in Glasgow, Scotland, from the ashes of the band The Boy Hairdressers. The Boy Hairdressers were part of the C86 movement, a term that originated from a compilation that Enemy magazine released in 1986 with jangly pop bands of the time on independent labels. Guitarist Norman Blake and Raymond McGinley, with bass player Gerard Love and drummer Francis McDonald, formed Teenage Fanclub in 1989. In 1990, Teenage Fanclub released their first album, A Catholic Education, on indie label Paperhouse Records. This release had a different sound than what the band would become known for, with a more chaotic and noisier approach. After the recording of the album was complete, drummer Francis McDonald left the band to finish his university education. They recruited drummer Brendan O'Hara, who re-recorded the drum parts because they wanted him to feel at home with the band, and also just because they were not happy with the original recording. Teenage Fanclub followed their debut with an EP called God Knows It's True, which was produced by the band and producer Don Fleming, who would become a longtime collaborator and who had his own bands, the Velvet Monkeys, BALL, and Gumball. After this EP, the band signed with the legendary Creation Records. They released their second album, The King, in 1991 on Creation Records, also produced by Fleming, which was an album that was quickly put together and recorded in one day with semi-improvised songs. They began the recordings for the next album at Amazon Studio in Liverpool, England. Don Fleming comes back again to produce with the band. Fleming inspired them to go with a different approach, more melodic with tighter riffs and harmonies. Star Sign was the first single released ahead of the album August 12, 1991. It turned out to be the band's highest charting single in the US, reaching number 4 on the Modern Rock Tracks chart. It reached number 44 on the UK singles chart. The next single was The Concept, also released ahead of the album October 21, 1991. Guitarist Norman Blake wrote the song and takes lead vocal. Blake went on to say that the song was written 20 minutes before the recording, and it was his attempt to write in narrative form. It reached number 12 on the US Modern Rock Tracks chart and number 51 on the UK singles chart. Bandwagonesque by Teenage Fanclub was released November 4th in the UK on Creation Records and November 21st, 1991 in the US on their American distributor DGC Records. The album cover was designed by Sharon Fitzgerald, who was McGinley's girlfriend at the time and who had also photographed a lot of the early pictures of the band. McGinley went on to say that to avoid the slick generic album cover that DGC may choose for them, they chose a free Microsoft clip art image that they found to make it look as cheap as possible. Apparently DGC was not happy with this concept. What You Do To Me was the third and final single, released January 27th, 1992. The song reached number 19 on the US Modern Rock Tracks chart and number 31 on the UK singles chart. Believe it or not, around this time, Gene Simmons from the band Kiss tried suing the band, claiming that he had a trademark for the money bag symbol. The band asked their lawyer if they could just tell him to take a hike, but the lawyer said no and they had to pay him like $500 in a credit. Bandwagonesque by Teenage Fanclub reached number 136 on the Billboard Hot 200. The record was chosen as Album of the Year in 1991 by Spin Magazine, beating out Nirvana's Nevermind. Producer Don Fleming, who had also produced the band Hole, went on to produce Screaming Trees, The Posies, The Smithereens, and Pete Yorn. In 2013, Enemy magazine ranked Bandwagonesque number 115 on their 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list.